Hey everybody, I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. And today I'm just going to talk. It's been a tough beginning of a week at work, just digging in that footer, that clay. Had to buy a pick, and picking through that clay is just hard on the old back there. And every muscle in my body, sunburned. Already in spring. It's supposed to be spring right now, but it's already in the 90s and really humid. So it's just brutal out there right now. And it will be for the rest of the summer. A lot of times our summers will last from April till October, and it won't start really cooling off until late October or early November. Those are just long, hard summers. And it looks like we might be in for another one like that. But yeah, I'm just physically worn out right now, just from working out there in that heat. And the footer itself is exposed. It's not in the shade. It's just all out in the sun. So there's really no break from it. But I'm not crying about it. It's good, honest work. I like it. I'm just worn out today. So I haven't really had the chance to plan a video, you know what I mean? Think about what I wanted to say. But I was thinking a little bit about how stuff used to be back in the day. That saying just makes me smile. Back in the day, reminds me of my nephew. Anyway, yeah, stuff has changed so much. Stuff really has. I mean, I remember when I was, in the Army, going to basic training and then going to Korea and stuff, and getting to the airport and just kind of hanging out there, have a few snacks or whatever, and then you wait around at your gate, and you would get on and show your boarding pass or whatever, and it was just really simple compared to what it is now. Now with all this security and all this crap, getting patted down and going through scanners and all that shit, I just seems like it's just a layer of complication that it was just simpler times back then, basically. I remember that the airport, trip to the airport was not just it wasn't an exciting thing, something that many people looked forward to, but it wasn't a horrible thing. People didn't completely hate it, But now it's standing in those long lines to be searched and scanned and patted down and all that shit. It's so different and so bad. It's just a bad experience now, where it used to be it wasn't that unpleasant. Maybe, it wasn't something that wasn't like a holiday or anything, but it wasn't truly unpleasant like it is today. And back when we were kids, it just seemed like things were more eventful, everything had more meaning. Everything today seems just almost pointless and meaningless. We used to have to go to Blockbuster to rent a movie, and it would be like a family event. You and your brothers and sisters, or if you were only child, your parents would take you to Blockbuster, and you'd get to browse through the movies and pick one out and look at the box or the artwork or the stuff on the box, and you'd read the back, and and it was a really great experience. It was and I didn't get to go to Blockbuster a lot. We didn't have a VCR until I was in my mid-teens, probably. So I didn't, it's not like, I went there a lot, but when I did get to go, it was a really cool experience. And if I remember correctly, Blockbuster actually started renting out video games there toward the end, there for a little while at least. I could be wrong about that, but it seems like I remember that. But yeah, it was more eventful and important. It was something to look forward to, and it was an exciting thing to be able to go to Blockbuster. You actually wanted to go somewhere. And now with the advent of all this streaming and shit, there's just now leaving the house is a pain in the ass. And, you basically got to drag your kids just to go outside. Nobody wants to go to the store anymore. We used to want to go to the mall and go, even if you were broke and you could look around. It was a fun time. Go look around and browse through the books at B. Dalton's or Books A Million, or you can go to the arcade and watch other kids play, or you could just go hang out with your friends, or there are all kinds of different things you could do at the mall. And but you had to leave the house to do it. Is my point. And we looked forward to that. Leaving the house was something to look forward to, something. It was a good thing that we looked forward to, that we enjoyed back then. And it's just so different now. Yeah. And going to the movies, going to see a movie in the theater or the drive-in, those were just great times. And they were community your little community, your friends or your family bonding and stuff like that. Nowadays, everybody's got a screen in their room, and each different room, families can just be completely separated and isolated in different rooms, and their mind be on the internet, And I mean, there's something to be said for the convenience and the accessibility of information. But at the same time, it's a trade-off. We've lost a lot. We've lost a lot of that feeling of togetherness, the feeling of doing things together. Now, instead of doing one big thing together, like going to Blockbuster on a Friday after you get home from school, so you have a couple movies over the weekend. Everybody just goes to their separate rooms and looks at whatever, their tablet or their phone or their TV or whatever. There's no sense of that togetherness and that eventfulness of doing something together, planning and doing something together. And that goes across the board in a lot of different ways, A lot of people just order shit online now. You don't get to, pile in the car and have your mom take you to Montgomery Ward anymore and get to go look around the store and see the different things. It's just this now. You just flick your screen. So I don't know. It seems like we've lost a lot in that trade-off for convenience. And I might be biased, which I definitely am, but it just seems like it was better back then. That kind of stuff, it was better. It wasn't the end of the world. It wasn't a completely just soul-dragging, crushing experience to have to go to Blockbuster to pick out a movie. It was a great experience. It was awesome. And if we didn't have a movie to watch, between Blockbuster trips, then we did some other shit. We entertained ourselves in other ways. And it was fine. It was great. All this technology and all this convenience, but self-termination rates are up. They're skyrocketing. Depression is up by, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of percent. Medications for these emotional problems and mental problems are up by, I don't know how many. It hasn't gotten better. people aren't healthier, people aren't happier, people aren't, more mentally stable, everything's worse. When you look at the metrics of what we're measured by, happiness, fulfillment, the amount of money we make, all these things, our life expectancy, how long we're living, none of these things have gotten drastically better with the amount of freedoms that have been taken from us and spying on us and all this other shit that's been added. All we've gotten is this convenience. And I don't like it. I don't like the trend. I don't like you can look at a road and see where it's going, look behind you and see where you're coming from, and look ahead and see where you're going. And I don't like it. I don't like where it's headed. I don't like that. I don't like where it is now, honestly. Yes, there is a lot to like about it, but that's just the surface stuff. Oh, it's convenient. Yeah, I don't have to get up and get dressed and drive somewhere for for a box of paper clips. I can just order them on Amazon and have them tomorrow. That is true. That's great. That's awesome. But what have I given up for that convenience? What have I given up for the ability to do that? Quite a bit of happiness, quite a bit of camaraderie, quite a bit of togetherness. Now we all seem to be, every person seems to be living in their own little bubble, living in a TikTok bubble or a Facebook bubble or whatever. And it's kind of sad when you think about it. The things that we've given up or traded away for the sake of convenience. And I think that trade-off, maybe even more pervasive, larger, more impactful than the trade-off for safety. Because those are the two things we trade for. We trade for safety and we trade for convenience. And we've traded a whole hell of a lot for convenience. And everything is changing because of that. And the more and more convenience we get, the more sedentary we become. We're less active. You think about it. A trip to Blockbuster, it's not a whole lot of exercise, but it's a little bit. And that little bit adds up. It's a hell of a lot more than zero, just sitting on the couch and clicking through streaming channels. So it adds up. Getting up and burning a few calories to go to Blockbuster or, to go get some paper clips or something from Staples or Walgreens. We burn calories doing that, and burning calories and getting exercise is healthy. Walking to your car and carrying some stuff is healthy. So yeah, we're sacrificing our health along with our sanity and everything else for the sake of convenience. And it's I don't think that's a good trade. I honestly don't. I think we had it better. I think that the 80s and 90s, 70s, 80s and 90s probably were the peak. Maybe not the peak of technology, of course, but the peak of humanity, the peak of happiness, the peak of health, the balance of health, sanity, happiness, all that stuff. Now, everything wasn't perfect, don't get me wrong, but there was as close as we have ever gotten to a balance. And now we're going like the scales are tipping the other way, right? We had a lot of physical labor and no technology, then the scales tip like this, right? And then we had some technology and some physical labor and physical activity, and now they're tipping like this. Almost no physical activity or labor and a lot of technology. I think the scales are tipping too far in the other way. And it keeps reminding me of that movie, Wall-E, where the humans were just completely sedentary. They couldn't even walk. They were all moving around on these like hover wheelchairs and watching stupid TV shows and stuff. It was, yeah, that's the kind of dystopian future we're headed for. And they were idiots too. So it was idiocracy and that non-sedentary shit at the same time. You know, everybody was unhealthy and stupid in Wall-E, where in idiocracy they were just stupid. And the health hadn't declined anywhere. But yeah, I miss the good old days. I honestly believe they're better, and I have some very strong arguments that point in that direction. So yeah. And I'll leave you there with that. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you would like to support the channel by becoming a member, I'll leave that link down in the description, or you can head over to the channel page and become a member that way. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can do so by clicking on that super thanks button down there. Or you can head over to Buy Me a Cup of Coffee and buy me a cup of coffee. I appreciate those of you who do that. Thank you very much, and I'll leave that link down in the description. If you're interested in Gen X gear, we got some pretty cool stuff over there at Redbubble. T-shirts, coffee mugs, stickers, Gen X things, and Gen X branded stuff. But I'll leave that link down in the description as well if you're interested. If you can't or don't want to support the channel in any of those ways, you can always do so by sharing these videos on your social media. That helps out a hell of an awful lot. Thank you very much. I sincerely appreciate it. If you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Things, please put those down in the comments. Or you can email us, and the email is genxthinks@gmail.com. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.